Hi everyone and welcome to this demo. Got these two lovely lemons. I generated the image using an AI bot called Midjourney, and I just love the colors of this. I love the sage greeny background with the lemons. I just thought it was so pretty. I'm working on the pastel matte paper. The size is 17 centimeters squared, and as always I've got a pretty rough sketch in there, and I'm going in with the background. If you've watched a few of my videos, you'll know that this is predominantly the way I start my work. I'll always start with the background and work my way forwards, if that makes sense. So using a little bit of pastel pencils here, and obviously a lot of my soft pastel sticks, using across the brands, as always, Mount Vision, Unison, Sennelier, Blue Earth Pastels. So for the background, you can see I went in with some beautiful bright mint green, and at first you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's a bit too intense. But when you layer in other colors, they kind of mix together, and those bright colors will become a little bit more desaturated. So they'll lose their vibrancy and actually make really nice first layer colors. So don't be scared to crack out some bright colors on your first layer. Obviously it depends on what paper you're using. I can't recommend pastel matte enough. I've been pasteling now for almost 5 years. I think it is 5 years actually. Yeah, 5 years. And my go-to paper is still pastel matte. I just don't know any other surface that compares to it. It's not harsh on my fingers. You can make lots of mistakes and correct them. Obviously, you've got to be light-handed with your pastel pressure. You can't go in super heavy and expect to correct a lot of mistakes. But if you're working in these thin layers, you can correct mistakes as you go, no problem. And I make mistakes, so I really, really love pastel matte for that. Also, there's not a lot of pastel dust fallout. I don't like lots of dust. So for me, yeah, pastel matte is just, yeah, it's one of the best surfaces, I think, for pastel. So obviously this will be over on my Patreon channel in real time. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check that out. Now I've done a few paintings where the shadow has been really intense and dramatic, but for this one I really like the subtlety of the shadow. So that's what I'm doing. It's not intense, it is there. It's just a slightly darker value from the wall. The light side of the wall. So you can see I've just put in a little bit of, it's kind of like a dishwasher, no, that's not the right, what's the right word? Like a greyed down green that I've put in there. I was thinking of a soap in South Africa we use called Sunlight Soap, and it's exactly that green, like this desaturated greyish green. That's why I said dishwasher. Never mind. So using a lot of the pastel pencils also to move the pigment in place and to clean up where I don't want pastel to be. They're great because I've got these sharp points. They are really good for cleanup purposes. So you'll see me, this is what I did quite a bit in this one, just going around with my pastel pencils. And then just lots of little tweaking, till I get these lemons to the place that I'm happy with. This is a very short one today, so I haven't said much, I suppose, except about the paper I use, because I think that is, when you're starting out, especially starting out in pastels, I think more important than the pastels themselves is the actual surface you're working on. For me, it really makes the difference. I think you can still create a beautiful painting using cheaper or non-artist quality pastels. So for me, I think the paper is the most important. Of course, your pastels, and the more you get into pastel and you build your collection, the artist grade pastels are phenomenal and can't really compare to the student grade. But when you're starting out, I still think the paper is the most important thing, is all I'm trying to say. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, but I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.